Welcome everyone to the January 31st, 2019 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. In a few hours, it's going to be February 1st. So we will have survived January.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Captain Vance, could you please lead us in the pledge? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm Barb Lewis, President. To my left, Vice President Jeff Benton. And Sarah DeNovo is our clerk today, and Mike Fromer is our administrator for more than a day. You can begin. Yeah. Yeah.
Resolution number 19-78, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held January 28th, 2018.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 19-78. Mr. Merrill is absent this morning. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We have no public comment this morning. Resolution number 19-79, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrants and batch number CMA PR 0130.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 19-79. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-80, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 19-80. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-81, in the matter of approving a contract between the Pike County Board of Commissioners and the Delaware County Board of Commissioners regarding inmate housing.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Yes, good morning. Shelley Fan, Director of the Delaware County Jail. As you probably know, we have an inmate that we've been housing at our jail from Pike County since November, and we're just wanting to solidify with a housing contract. We should probably have that inmate in our jail for a few more months.
Oh, okay, okay.
I assume the terms and reimbursement rates and everything are the same as the others?
Yes, they are, yes.
Thank you, Shelley. Vote.
Vote on motion 19-81. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number
Thank you.
19-82, in the matter of approving cost reimbursement agreement between the Board of County Commissioners, Delaware County, on behalf of the Delaware County Sheriff's Office and Federal Bureau of Investigation.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Captain Scott Vance,
Morning.
Delaware County Sheriff's Office. I'm the designated hitter on this one this morning. This is simply an agreement to allow us to further our multi-jurisdictional task force unit with the FBI, Safe Streets initiative. So they're dealing with gangs and some of the other violent crimes that have been in place. Both Delaware and Franklin, they've been working these for a period of time now. So this allows us to get a detective on that group, will allow us to gather further intel, and then allow for some reimbursement for overtime and things like that.
Okay.
We're part of the Southern Ohio District?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that is.
don't think we're in the southern part of the state, but
Yeah.
geography doesn't.
Whoever drew it.
Yeah.
Whoever drew it,
Southern.
okay.
We're also in that for the U.S. Marshal's Office for SOFAST.
Yeah, in the Southern Court District as
Yes.
well. So interesting. Background on this, and we're getting reimbursed for overtime only, as I understand it from the
So
agreement.
we're supplying the officer at our rate. Candidly, I don't know how the salary completely is on the reimbursement, as I got asked to fill in today on this outside that, but I did ask specifically with overtime. They are going to issue a vehicle for our officer to drive down there. And then we've already had them involved with a couple major crimes up in our area prior to our involvement in this, so this will just extend that and allow us to have some further intelligence gathering opportunities.
Okay.
All this is federal related. Yeah. Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 19-82. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-83, resolution of necessity for purchase or lease of motor vehicles for the use of the county sheriff or his employees.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning again. As you're aware, we talked extensively about vehicles during the 2019 budget preparation. This will allow for the marked units to be replaced to maintain that fleet turnover ratio that we've talked about, trying to reduce some of the higher mile cars and get some vehicles turned into the county. So we'll be addressing things with maintenance and overall reliability of the vehicles on the road.
Okay,
But
great.
this is a plan for the full year of 2019. This will be
Yes.
all the vehicles that,
These 15 vehicles in this are strictly the marked units. There were a couple other vehicles on there, and I'm still waiting on state term contracts to come out on those, but the marked ones will be taking care of all the frontline ones that you see typically responding to calls.
And during the budgeting process, this year, I think, was considered kind of a catch-up year. So moving forward, we were not anticipating the same number. Brad, you're nodding yes, right? That we're not, this number is a little higher than we will see traditionally moving forward, so.
what is the average life of, one of our cruisers?
We pretty much
Typically.
get every ounce of life out of one we can. So a car comes in, hits the front line, you can count on it being on the front line usually about 2 years, averaging somewhere between 84 to 95,000 miles before we pull it off front line. We roll it into either, like court services, an SRO position, it may run another 2 or 3 years into that. And depending on how the mileage is at that and what's available, sometimes we've even rolled them in there. So we've got cars running 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
By the time we're turning them in, I'm driving a backup right now that's at 160,000.
Okay.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 19-83. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain.
Resolution number 19-84, in the matter of approving an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, the Delaware County Automatic Data Processing Board, and the Board of Township Trustees of Orange Township for information technology services to the township.
So moved?
Second discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Steve Lewis with the IT Department. This is essentially a renewal, but I think it's being presented to you as a new agreement because there was some modifications made to it that basically give the county and the township some more control. But outside of that, the terms are still identical, but Eric suggested that we just do a new agreement, so that's what's before you today.
This agreement working well? I've not heard anything that seems to be.
For now, yes. I think it is, yes.
Good to hear, and glad that we're able to
Yes.
help Orange Township. And
Yes. Vote.
Vote on motion 19-84. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Resolution number 19-85, in the matter of establishing a new fund, new organization key, and supplemental appropriations for 911.
so moved.
Second discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. What we have before you is the establishment of a new fund, an organization that's going to house our 911 wireless fund monies. Currently, the money is wrapped up in our 214 fund, which is actually dedicated for our levies. It was recommended by the prosecutor's office and Auditor Keitze to have this split within two funds. Considering the fund is zero right now, that's where you have the supplemental appropriations of such. And you can see where we're reducing the 214 account and increasing it, so it's a net change of our budget is zero.
Vote.
Vote on motion 19-85. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thanks, have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Resolution number 19-86, in the matter of approving the sanitary sewer subdividers agreement for Moose at Zion.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Mag, Director of Environmental Services. This is a small condo development. There's 8 units. It's in the city of Powell, near Sawmill Road and Zion Drive.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 19-86. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-87, in the matter of certification of delinquent accounts to the county auditor for accounts to be assessed to payable year 2020 taxes.
So moved.
Second discussion.
So these are our delinquent accounts, and as you know, they're certified once they're past 90 days due and the amount exceeds $25. And the current amount is just over $154,000 for the last quarter. That'll be certified to the taxes. It's in line with what we see typically. It's right at 4.7% of our accounts. And one thing that I don't typically mention, I think I kind of forget to mention, is we actually receive all of this money back through the taxes. So it takes us a little more time, obviously, than what we would like, but we do see pretty much 100% return on this money.
Oh, good. Vote.
Vote on motion 19-87. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 19-88, in the matter of approving a permit for the use of Delaware County facilities.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jane Hawes, Communications Director. This first one we have before you initiated through the Board of Elections, use of their conference room. They do have it down here that they're charging a fee. I spoke with Brenda Manley, who arranged this. We don't typically, but she pointed out our guidelines do call for if the use of a room by an outside group falls outside of normal business hours, they charge $25 an hour. Then when they collect it, it's paid to the general fund. She sends it to Jane Tinker, and she enters it that way. So in this case, it amounts to basically portions of 4 hours that fall outside of business hours, so for the fee of $100.
Okay.
Okay.
Vote?
Vote on motion 19-88. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-89, in the matter of approving a permit for the use of Delaware County facilities.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Discussion.
This second one all occurs during business hours, so there is no need to necessarily levy a charge for it. So recommend your approval.
Okay. Vote?
Vote on motion 19-89. Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye. Thank you.
Resolution number 19-90, in the matter of approving a car allowance for the county administrator.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Vote?
Vote on motion 19-90. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-91, resolution of necessity for purchase or lease of motor vehicles for the use of Delaware County facilities maintenance, code compliance, prosecutor's office, juvenile court, dog warden, sewer district, and veteran services.
So moved.
Second. Discussion.
Brad Lutz, Director of Business Operations Financial Management. Before you today, we have a resolution of necessity to purchase, or rather lease, vehicles. I want to apologize. This is one-handed. It's a little more difficult. Let me get this. Does this count for a handicap sticker? If I'm doing right? We'll be leasing 17 vehicles from the general fund and other funds departments. I'll let Tiffany speak to the sanitary engineer vehicles, but this number is slightly different than the number that was initially presented to you when we discussed that the leasing was a more economical option than purchasing the vehicles, simply because since that time, we discussed the ultimate purchases with the departments. Some departments, such as the auditor, decided that they didn't want to replace a vehicle in this cycle. We also had a vehicle that was ultimately, or should be totaled. It is officially totaled now? Okay. And that added a vehicle to the list, and then we decided in that particular department, code compliance, that would have left them with one older Crown Vic, so it made sense to just go ahead and replace all their Crown Vics, so there was none of those older Crown Victoria vehicles in their fleet. So that's how we ultimately ended up with the number of 17. But that also did pull a vehicle up from 2020, so we're looking at, barring any, of course, unforeseen circumstances involving vehicles, that we would be leasing 5 vehicles in 2020. So 17 is similar to the sheriff's office that came before you earlier today, a catch-up year is what we could be considered this. These 17 vehicles that will be ultimately replaced are our highest mileage and some of our oldest vehicles. I do not anticipate those finding any other use within the fleet, so I would anticipate us deleting those vehicles in whatever way is most effective, whether that's auction or just straight scrapping, depending on the vehicle. And also, still, as part of the vehicle replacement plan, we will be deleting 7 vehicles from the overall fleet. Those 7 vehicles will not be replaced. So we will have a total of 24 vehicles that will ultimately leave the fleet, 17 new ones come in.
Mag, Director of Environmental Services. So with the regional sewer district, this, once again, we've mentioned catch-up year. This is definitely a catch-up year for us. I think we budgeted for 5 new vehicles last year that we did not purchase in anticipation of this plan for the enterprise system. So what we're going to do this year is replace 8 vehicles instead of just outright purchasing any news. We had some trucks that one of them got totaled a few years ago. We have some really old Dodge pickups that we can only use for like plowing when it snows. That's pretty much all they're good for. They really can't be taken out of the plants. A lot of different vehicles like that previously were kind of sitting there not being used and really racking up a lot of cost from the service department. So our plan is to get the 8 replacement vehicles this year, and that'll pretty much get us where we need to be and not have to purchase any additionals. So, any questions about that?
Any questions? No, I'm glad the program's going into effect, and it's taken a lot of work. John Melvin over there, Mike Fromer, and Brad, and Tiffany working with, on the sewer department vehicles, but boy, it's good. It's finally happening. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to also thank everyone for their effort on this, because this is one of the areas where we just wrestled with for a long time about we're not managing this as efficiently and effectively as we should, and a lot of work and analysis has gone into this, and so this is kind of the first step in getting our arms around our fleet and really managing them much more professionally and much more proactively and saving some money. I mean, taking 7 vehicles out of the fleet really does help save dollars and make us more efficient. And then again, the newer vehicles will be easier to operate and safer and so on. So again, good work, and glad to see this come to fruition.
Vote?
Vote on motion 19-91. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye. Thank you.
That brings us to administrative reports.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just wanted to report that, first off, the Ohio EPA had reached out to us to talk about hosting like a regional meeting to talk about the electric vehicle charging stations, and Sarah's actually been coordinating with them, and we're looking at the end of February to just host.
February 5th.
February 5th, okay, early in February. We're looking to host that just to have that dialogue, so just wanted you to be aware of that. Also, tomorrow, we're going to be meeting with the, I think the group that Gary Vest has put together, and we're going to be meeting and talking through some of that just to kind of give you an update. And lastly, Commissioner Benton brought up the southern designation, and I will tell you from a stormwater and sanitary sewer perspective, we drain to the Ohio River here. And not the Great Lakes. So sometimes that's, you're considered in the southern part because all of our stormwater and sanitary drains to the Ohio River instead of the Great Lakes.
The old Tangi, the Scioto.
So anyway, I don't know if that has anything to do with the FBI, but that is a designation,
Yeah.
so.
Very interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, makes sense.
Kind of.
Yeah, go ahead.
We had our OSU luncheon, OSU Extension Office luncheon yesterday, and it was very good to catch up with Rob Leeds and his team. They do really nice stuff with 4-H and all the work they do with the ag community and promoting Delaware County's ag community, as well as statewide initiatives to advance their agendas. Very important part of our community, and it's good to see them doing so well and being well led. We had a Morpsey regional meeting on Tuesday, I think it was. Mike and I went, and there were several other people there, and it was kind of just a regional get-together to talk about what's going on. And of course, there is a lot going on in Delaware County, and talking to the other folks. Again, good to get together and talk about those things. Lieutenant Governor John Husted has introduced regional office hours. And his office is going to have open houses or office hours, I guess is the way to describe it. Shoot, I didn't write down I thought I brought it. Don't have it with me. But anyway.
Where is it?
It's February 22nd at the library.
Oh, at the
I think it's our downtown Delaware Library. I think it's 10 to 12.
Oh, okay.
So if you need to get in touch with Lieutenant Governor Husted's office, they will be here again, I'll verify that, but I think it's February 22nd from 10 to 12 at the library here in downtown Delaware. And again, they're reaching out. If you got ideas, initiatives, need something, he's in charge of the Common Sense Initiative, a number of other things. So again, good to see that.
Oh, great.
So that's all I got.
I was going to mention the OSU Extension Lunch, which is always great. And
Commissioner Stuyvesant from Marion County.
That's right, yes.
Pork
he was, and it was pretty cold, he said, when he went to the barn about 10 to 5 in the morning to do the pork So it was excellent, though. So, yes, I mean, that's really gracious of them. They do this every year for us, so, and it's always wonderful. That is all I have right now, and I guess we do have
We
executive.
do. Resolution number 19-92, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment compensation of a public employee or public official.
So moved.
Second discussion vote.
Vote on motion 19-92. Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
We are now recessed into executive session.
Yeah,
All by yourself?
that's right.
Probably the door's locked.
Yeah, door's locked, and I would have,
Resolution number 19-93, in the matter of adjourning out of executive session.
So moved.
second discussion vote.
Vote on motion 19-93. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We are adjourned.